Because I don't care if you're stupid or smart. If you need help, you need help. But I don't get guys that are stupid. You know, just to call stupid guys, but I don't get the guys that are stupid. Why are smart guys always having trouble? It's not fair if you look at it. Go ahead, finish.
Nazywam się Paweł i zajmuję się prowadzeniem dochodzeń i śledztw w sprawach dotyczących oszustw finansowych.
Mam na imię Dawid. Zajmuję się branżą budowlaną.
David.
David. To tak samo jak ty.
I understand that. See, I'm learning Polish. Go ahead.
Wiesz co, chyba za dużo ostatnio myślę i za dużo analizuję. I powiem ci, że... No chyba tak. I nie za bardzo szczęśliwy jestem z tym wszystkim.
We're going to discuss individually during this seminar each person's problem or what they think their problem is. It might not be what you think your problem is. When I start coaching with any student, I have an agreement with them. During the time I'm coaching them or helping them, I am the only one who's allowed to punish you. If you think you did something wrong, no, I have to think you did something wrong. Because what you do sometimes that you think you're doing wrong, you get mad at yourself. If you get mad at yourself, especially intelligent men, it's a punishment you give yourself. Usually the punishment you give yourself is a lot worse than I could punish you. But once you've punished yourself, you exonerate yourself. You're free of the problem. I don't want that to happen. I want you to look at it in a different way. Everything that's going to go on is a learning experience. When I work with my students, I tell them like this. I don't like to talk about the past after the first session. Because no matter how good I am or how good you think I am, I can't help you for yesterday. I can only help you for tomorrow. Why you had this problem, why you became this way, I don't want to analyze it. Waste of time. I want you from this point forward not to have the problem anymore. To have the confidence to move forward. So these are the agreements, and the same thing with the guys in the seminars. When you think you have a problem, I'll discuss what you've done wrong. It's a readjustment. Everything I'm going to tell you, you probably heard before. I'm going to put it in the right order. It's like when you get a puzzle. You know, you've all seen these puzzles, you put together pieces, and it makes a picture. This is what it is. It's a puzzle. You have all the pieces, but you're scratching your head, you can't put it together. It's there. After you finish the puzzle, you go, that was easy. But until you finish the puzzle, you think it's hard. I've wanted to come here to Poland for a long time. I'm so happy that Thomas approached me to come, because I've had a lot of Polish students in the past. Most of them speak English perfectly, like, you know, a lot of you guys here, which is, for me, it's an amazing thing, you know. My mother was Polish and she could speak 12 languages, you know. I got trouble with English sometimes. But if you think that I'm not getting to your particular reason why you're here, don't be afraid to lift up your hand in wanting to talk to me. Although this is a seminar, I want to help everybody. So it could be individuals. It's not just, I'm going to talk to him and not talk to you. You know, I want to help everybody. It's easy. It's not hard. I'm going to start with very basic stuff. I'm going to ask you guys questions. And I'm going to ask you right now, how many of you guys could go shopping on a Saturday for 8 hours? Different shops. Go in, try on a shirt, try on pants, buy nothing. And then go back again Sunday to do it all over again. Can any one of you guys do that? Whoever can do it, raise their hand. I don't see any hands. But you all know women can do this. It's amazing. We don't understand how they could do this. To us, it's a punishment. You know, I had a girl once tell me like this. She says to me, I want you to go shopping with me. I looked at her and I go, no. She goes, what? I go, no. She says, come on, come shopping with me. I go, listen, if I go shopping with you, it'll probably be the last time I see you ever again. Because we're going to have an argument. Because I'm going to get bored and I don't want to be it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be there. I don't want to do anything like it. And you have to respect what I'm comfortable with. I ask every woman in every conversation, I thought there would be some women here. Thomas.
It will be.
Okay.
After lunchtime.
I ask every woman a question, which is the start of my control. And that question is, what are the 3 most important things in any relationship? And I usually challenge them by saying, I'm going to tell you what they are after you tell me, and I guarantee if you don't hit on all 3 of them, I'll tell you, you'll agree with me. They love the challenge because they want to tell me you're wrong. And I ask them. And again, I'm never afraid to tell them you're wrong. Do you know what the 3 most important things in a relationship?
Probably, but not the ones you
Honest,
remember.
trust, and respect.
Yes. Honesty, trust, and respect. Now, you see, this is a very funny thing because a guy could say that because most men don't trust women. They don't believe them and they don't trust them because they know they're going to lie to them. Most women could say things to guys that no guy would say to a woman. We've been brought up to believe women are so nice and sweet. They're nicer than us. They're not. The men are nicer than women. We would never say to a woman what she would say to a man. If you're with a woman and you look at another woman, she gets mad. But if she looks at another man and you say something, she says, why are you jealous? You have to establish that you have the same rights they have and not be afraid of them. There's a lot of things about women that we can't figure out. We see it every day and we don't understand it. How much money have you spent on makeup in the last year?
None.
No. I can guarantee.
Does haircut count?
What's that?
Haircut counts?
No. Well, you know, I'll tell you a funny thing. I take my 2 boys to the barber, okay? And I'm using the same barber for 40 years, okay? So last time, just before I left, my wife says, I'm going to go with you to your barber shop because he has a women's section too. So I said, I like the guy. I'd like to give him the business. So she comes with me, and when he gives me the bill after, I look at it like, whoa, a woman's haircut cost 4 times what a man's haircut cost. They spend money on makeup, hair products. You know, I heard a statistic the other day which freaked me out. In the United States, it's one of the biggest users of hair products. It's a $2 billion business, just stuff to put in women's hair. $2 billion of stuff to put in your hair. And I heard that the black women are 20% of the population in the United States. They spend 80% of the money on women's hair products. And I'm looking. 80%. Their hair is like steel wool. Okay? What are they spending? What's going on? You never see a black woman and go, ooh, beautiful hair. It's usually a blonde, a redhead. But these women spend tons of money. What for? To look good for each other? No. To look good for the men. They're buying clothes, spending hours looking through shops, going from store to store to find something that is going to turn you on. This is what we should focus on. When I look at a woman, the first thing I see is, what about her that she attracts me? What turns me on about that woman? The second thing I'm thinking is, how I'm going to fuck her. Sometimes when I'm looking at them, I'm staring at them, and she said, I had women come up to me and says, do I know you? I go, no. She says, you keep looking at me. I tell them, I'm enjoying it. I'm thinking about my fantasy fucking her. I don't give a shit if she cares. Why did she get dressed up? Why did she go out? If she didn't want me to look at her. But they give you mixed signals. You go to a club and you go start talking to a girl, and the first thing she tells you is, I have a boyfriend. Why the fuck are you here if you have a boyfriend? I don't answer them till the third time they tell me they have a boyfriend. And then I tell them, you know, if I was your boyfriend, you wouldn't be here talking to me. What's going on? You're not going to find my wife in a club talking to another guy saying, I'm married. She shouldn't be there. What's she going out for? But they tell you this because they're lying to you, because they're testing you. They want to see your reaction, how you're going to deal with it. Oh, okay, yeah. When a woman asks me, what do you want me for, just sex? I have the same answer. I love my answer. I go like this, you know. I have a back scratcher. I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's, you know, you scratch your back with it. I'm pretty neat at home. I'm a good cook. You know, you're right. That's all I want you for is sex. If I want a guy in finance, I'm not going to go to a bar. I'm going to go to a bank or a finance company. Yeah, I'm looking for a woman for what? On this planet Earth, we are one species of animal. The good thing is we're the top of the food chain. We're the smartest animal. We're the thinking animal. But like every single animal on this planet, we're only supposed to do two things. That's all we're supposed to do. Eat and fuck. That's all. You're wearing clothes, driving cars. It's all lucky because we're the animal. But that's all we're supposed to do is just eat and fuck. And that's why the human animal, especially the male, has got a problem. I'm talking to my young son one day, and I tell him the difference between me and the older people is the older people look at kids and young people, they're stupid, they don't know. I look at it different. I look at every generation after mine is smarter. We don't go back in time. We don't ride horses. You know? We don't hunt with bows and arrows. We're going into space already. We got computers, electronic shit. We got all kinds of stuff. When I was in my 20s, a cell phone didn't exist. Now, you can't find somebody who doesn't have one. Every younger generation, it's like my computer guy, 24 years old. And my wife, who's in IT also, who's been working for the same company for 30 years, when I wanted to get a computer guy, says, you know a company I could call? She goes, no, don't call a company. Look for a kid who's just finished school, a young guy. They're the ones who know more than the rest of us. And she's right. Every generation coming after us is smarter. That's why we progress. That's why we have nicer cars than we had 30 years ago. That's why we don't try to kill each other as much as you did 50 years ago. You know? We're trying very hard to live with each other for the pursuit of happiness. What's happiness? A full belly and a place to put your dick. That's happiness. Who wants to fight with the next guy? Every single person on this planet, whether you're rich or poor, can enjoy sex the same. I was asked, I did an interview with a guy, Alan Roger Curry. He's got very similar views to mine. And he asked me about Tiger Woods, what my opinion was on Tiger Woods. And I said, you know, I have a different opinion than the rest of the world. Here's a guy who earns an insane amount of money. $1 billion a year. One man earns $1 billion a year. And all he wants to do is fuck. Maybe he has his own chef. We don't hear about him cheating on a chef going to a restaurant. So he wanted to fuck different women. I said the only problem Tiger Woods had was he should have talked to me before he got married. All these women that he slept with were only proud and happy to tell the world what he did. He paid them huge amounts of money. But they wanted to make trouble for him. And that's what you should realize. No matter how rich he is, all the problems he had is because the women wanted to make trouble. They all knew he was married. They all called his cell phone or his house to speak to his wife, to tell her. Why? All he wanted to do was fuck. Didn't want to kill anybody. And he gave them lots of money. if he would have met his wife and said, listen, I like you, I want to have children with you, but I want to fuck like crazy. So I'll give you a few $100 million. Let's have children. Let's not get married. Bring up my kids. If she wouldn't have said yes, there would have been millions of women who would have said yes. But no. They got married. Why did he get married? Well, it's a lot of pressure we get, no matter how rich or poor you are, from our families. I had for years people tell me, you know, you should get married. My best friends' wives always wanted to fix me up with girls to get married. No girl's ever good enough for you. I don't say she's not good enough, but after I fuck her, I'm looking for a better fuck. I fucked so many different women, I enjoyed them. It's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to get married. I don't want to be tied down to one woman. When I decided that I wanted to get married, I decided to change my life, which I've done many times. I decided to focus on what I wanted. And what I wanted wasn't to get married. It was to have children. So I chose, out of the girls I was seeing, the one I thought would be the best mother, and the one I thought would treat me the best. And I looked at her and I said to her, you want to go make a baby boy? She looked at me and says, how do you know it's going to be a boy? I said, I don't. I think it's going to be a boy. Her father and my father came to me, marry her, marry her, marry her. I go, no. I married her. She was in August 26th. My son was born October 2nd. I waited. She was close to 8 months pregnant. And I tell my wife, if she starts to open her mouth to me, I tell her, the door is there. You could be replaced. They never stop making women. It's a funny thing. They keep making more and more and more. If you have the attitude that foreplay is 2 hours of begging, you know, look at the reality. She spends a ton of money to make herself look good and smell good. Because they really don't smell good if you don't have any perfume on them. They stink. You have to put your dick in a sloppy, wet hole. And when you get older, the man always looks better than the woman. It's better to give her some kids. It's like in the animal kingdom. Most of the male animals are more majestic than the female. It's in everywhere. In birds, what's better looking? A chicken or a rooster? A peacock, the male peacock has all the feathers. The beautiful colored feathers. The female doesn't. The lion. I tell everybody, if I come back as an animal, I'd like to come back as a lion. The male lion looks good. He always has a pride, which is a harem. 4 or 5 females. They take care of the kids. They do the hunting. He eats, sleeps during the day, and licks his balls at night. That's the best life you could have. You like that? Lucky you can't bend enough. You'd lick your own balls too. But that's the reality. The deer, the male deer has the antlers. They fight for the best looking women. In herds of horses, The best looking, strongest horse gets the women. With bulls, with rams. It's all the same. The animal kingdom. And what else? You think it was just designed for animals, that when a woman gets in heat, the male smells it, knows it? It's only in animals? I can walk into a club or a bar and I can smell when a woman is wet. I'm not better than you guys. I don't have a special science inside of me that could do it and you can't. It's the smart guys that shut all these natural instincts off because you doubt yourself. When you see a girl is looking at you, you don't know what to do. You're thinking, the first 100 things you're thinking about is making her happy. Rule number 1. Who cares what she thinks or says? You don't believe her anyway, but you want to think what she's going to say. How can you think what the woman's going to say? They don't make sense to us. I don't know how many of you guys have sisters, but I spoke to one student who had 2 sisters, and I said to him like this, how long do you think your sister spends in the bathroom before she goes out with her friends to a club? And he'd go, oh, fuck, it was my nightmare growing up. He could never get the toilet with 2 sisters. Sure. If I lock you in a toilet for 2.5 hours, you'll fucking be hitting the door after 15 minutes. What are they doing there? They move every pussy hair in the right place. What the fuck do they do in there? None of us can figure out what they do in there. They go and they get the hair pulled off their skin with fucking hot wax. When I get a Band-Aid on it, I have to rip it off. I hate it. They're ripping off around their pussy and their ass, and for what? For you to touch them, it's all smooth. I used to have a rule. I never would go out with a girl who had a bigger mustache than me. You have to realize and feel you're the male. I sometimes give my students homework assignments, like I mentioned to you. I have lots of different homework assignments. Depending the level you're at, I've made a lot of students write me out a letter of recommendation about themselves. Like, you're a commodity. Don't look in the mirror and say, I'm not good looking enough for the women. This doesn't matter. Men think like this, not women. Every time you're going to try to think what she's thinking, you're going to be wrong. I met this gentleman yesterday and I told him, you're a commodity. You're a valuable commodity. There isn't guys around like your age, intelligent like you, without baggage, without problems, that a woman can grab onto. But you're not thinking of that, you're good. You're thinking of, oh, you want to be nice to her. Why? Let her be nice to you. It goes back to all cultures. If we talk religious cultures, well, the Catholic religion is a very good sign. The women are number 2. They can't even be a priest. They can only be a nun. And you know what? I say like this, they're all married to Jesus. If Jesus comes back, does he get to fuck them all? That's what's in my mind. They're all his wives. I'd like to come back and say, my name's Jesus. You gotta all fuck me. It's for the men to control the women because they need control. Yeah, you know, okay, I'm definitely, I don't hide it, a male chauvinist. Okay? I believe it and I think like it. Look, you can't find a worse religion for women than the Arabs, the Muslims. I'm not saying it's a bad religion, but if you're a woman, it's not very good. You have to cover up your face. You have to walk 4 steps behind the man. If the man wants to divorce you, he needs 1 male witness, and he walks around you counterclockwise, I don't know, 6 times, 4 times, whatever, and tells you, get the fuck out. Any religion you look at. It was not long ago where they had to stop was it the Indians or the Pakistanis? They were killing the girl babies. Only if they had a boy baby it was good. We always think you have to be nice to the women. That's because of our mothers. They did nothing wrong, but doesn't mean you have to believe everything they say too. In a lot of the religions, the women bring up the children, like in the animal kingdom. The difference between us and the animals is when the animal becomes mature, they're let go. Sometimes if a lion or a bear meets their cub, when it's an adult, they don't even remember it was their cub. They could kill it or eat it, even though it was their own. We're different. In the humans, our mothers never leave go. They keep us always forever. Well, it's nice. You have family, you have events. It's nice. Appreciate what you have. But you can't force yourself to do things that your parents want you to do. I talked to a lot of young guys. I was lucky. Most of my friends growing up, they got married young. When I was in my 20s, half of my friends were married. Whew, I used to look at them, fuck. You fucked only 1 girl. You sure that's what you want to do? And today, they're all fucking around on their wives. They're all not happy. I had a friend, he got married. 4 or 5 years ago, I'm talking to him. He says, I just got divorced. I go, but you were so happy. He goes, nah, I was never happy. After the first couple of years, I was never happy. I said, what happened? He says, it was after my daughter's wedding. I'm sitting at the table, having a coffee in the morning, reading the newspaper, and my wife is... I looked at her, I put down the newspaper, I says, you know, I don't need this shit anymore. Goodbye, I'm leaving, and he left. And he actually met this nice Russian girl, you know. And he said to me, you know, it's amazing. I don't have to ask her to give me a blowjob. With my wife, I'd have to buy her jewelry or a mink coat to get a blowjob. I said, fuck. I was 35 years old before I found out a girl's ears were for hearing. And he's begging for a blowjob. I thought they were fucking handles. I grew up thinking the perfect girl is this tall, with a flat head, and big ears. So I could put my beer on her head while she's blowing me. You know, I went out with the boys yesterday. We went to look at some sunglasses, so the girl had to bend down to open the lock at the bottom. So he's standing beside me, and I look at him, I tell him like this, I says, I love